I'm gonna tell y'all something. Don't let that face fool you, because in the movie, people hint that she's ugly, but she gets nude in the movie, and I don't even mean
2 or 3 times.
Man, I'm not trying to be. Y'all call me whatever the fuck. She got a body on her, man. It's like, and that ass calms that monster down. Yeah. That monster goes off until he gets a clip of that ass, and he's like. Oh, the shape of that Wawa. And here's the thing, man. Well, this is revolutionary, that what's going on right here with this movie. Because, for years, we done had these creatures and these monsters out there chasing them white women, man. Always, King Kong. King Kong was out there. You know what happened to him. King Kong was fell for that white woman. Mm-hmm. Thought he could climb high and get away with this shit. I just hide up here.
Thought he was too big for Jim Crow laws.
Yeah. That crow took his ass down real quick. A bunch of them crows swarming around his ass. King Kong was the first black man to be lynched by helicopter. Took his ass down quick. Fuck you. It didn't end well for him. He fell off that building and still had that white woman in his hand. So he was not ready to let go, right?
Save yourself. I can't.
You have to pry this white woman from my cold black hands. One big ass finger at a time. My boy King Kong didn't have a chance, man. So I don't know how in the world, how in the hell the creature from the Black Lagoon thought he ever had a chance with a woman. I would like this picture right here. That woman's like, damn, you look nothing like your profile picture. Holy shit. Yeah.
He used the angles.
Downward angle.
Yeah. Had on toupees. But yeah, don't know how this man thought he had a chance with this woman. I mean, yeah, King Kong, sure, he didn't have a chance, but at least he had something in common.
He's a mammal.
He was a mammal, and he was dry. Yeah.
And he can kill a T-Rex with his bare hands.
Yeah, that's hot.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That is hot. Yeah, what can you do?
Yeah, not a goddamn thing.
Choke a guppy? What the fuck you gonna do, man? My man here, yeah, it just wasn't in the cards for them, man. Nothing. I hate to say it. I'm not trying to be racist here, but it's just not meant to be for a human being and a fish man, a fish woman, or fish people. It's just not possible. I'm sorry, just some things ain't gonna happen. Jews and Catholics, that's something that just don't happen right there.
Aquaman's hooked up before.
I thought you were going to say Aquaman was Jewish. I was like, why
not? You can't prove that he wasn't.
Them old wet-ass Jews. Yeah, man. But my man, Guillermo del Toro, it said, Corey, it's because of that small-minded thinking of yours like that we're never going to make a change. He says, I defy your little ways of thinking, your racism, Corey. And y'all know Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro has fought for creature and monster rights for years. Mm-hmm. In fact, that's his thing. Shit, he getting
hello, my baby.
Yeah, look at
there he is with his intern.
Yeah. He can photobomb by a fucking alien embryo back there. Yeah, he's like, you know what? That's not the way to think, man. I'm gonna change this. You was a black man. I'm ashamed. You should know this. Got yourself a turkey for a wife. in a species relationship. And that's where we've hit this moment where this is a groundbreaking film. This is a revolutionary film that we have here, because Guillermo del Toro has touted this as the first major film out there where the creature, the monster, actually gets the girl. And yes, in this case, even the fish man. We're talking about The Shape of Water, and this is a breakthrough, another level of breakthrough for interracial relationships. And we're going to show the trailer right here that will give you an idea of what this movie is about. The world's not prepared for it, but I think this is going to change it. And let's go ahead and watch the trailer, and we'll come back with our review.
What'd you say to me? What did she say?
What is she saying?
She is saying thank you.
what I like about Guillermo del Toro is that he's never lost touch with his childhood. And the thing with him, you're like, well, there's a lot of directors out there who never lost touch with their childhood. Hell,
Too many.
Yeah, too many. Steven Spielberg made a whole, he's a legend for that. But there's a lot of other directors out there who's, what they do is, they never lost touch with their childhood, but maybe they should have.
Yeah.
Because unlike Guillermo del Toro right here, what they do is they come back and they're like, well, I've never lost touch with my childhood, so I'm going to write this script that was based on a story I had when I was 12.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, back when you couldn't write? Okay.
Still, shit's still written in crayons.
I'm a genius.
Yeah.
I was a genius back then.
Yeah. They get to that point where they think like, oh, anything that I did, even that shitty script I did when I was 12, I can bring it back. Not Guillermo del Toro. Guillermo del Toro, he makes fairy tales for adults. His fairy tales and his fantasies have grown up and matured with him. What he's done is that he makes fantasy movies and fairy tale films where they have adult themes and elements. We have nudity, we have sex, we got violence, we have political issues, social issues. Things that we see, even if they are in there in a fairy tale, they're watered down for children, they're done with metaphor and allegory and whatnot.
And all that's just in the first 5 minutes of this movie. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man, he doesn't hesitate, and he goes deep. But you know what? He says, I'm gonna make this this very, very this big message here that's probably relative to issues that are going on now. But I still love the monsters.
Sure.
I still love the creatures. I still love aliens and strange looking things.
Yeah, if you don't put those in there, he can't get off.
No, like he makes his wife wear a monster mask when they're having sex and shit. With this, I love the world that he's built here. That when you look at this world, everything is off. Everything is mysterious. Everything is fantastical. Like, if you look at it, everything looks like the world that we're in now, except sometimes you go somewhere and it's like, man, there's too many people up in this apartment complex. The architecture is kind of weird.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really liked about this one, too, is it felt like it was in the real world, but it felt like it still had that Hollywood presence to it. Like, everything kind of felt a little artificial, but it still felt grounded, which was pretty dope.
The look of this film is amazing. But, of course, what people are being sold with this film is the creature. And, when we're talking about mystery with this movie, with the trailers, I always say, man, look, trailers don't bother me. People are always screaming spoiler, and I don't want to know anything. I don't want to see this. I always say, shut the fuck up, except for this case right here.
See, I knew you'd get those words eventually.
At this one time, don't get used to it. But the reason why I say it this once is because early on in the movie, what they do with the storytelling that's done very well is that they slowly introduce this creature. Like, I wish I hadn't seen it in the trailers. Not today. I know that they have to do it, but I wish I hadn't seen it because they do in the movie, and I hate to I bring this up all the time, and I'm going to do it again, but what they used to do in the 80s when they had these kind of movies. This is like an Amblin film that's made for adults, and they even introduced the creature that way. They do it slowly, they do it bit by bit, and when you watch like Gremlins back in the day or E.T., it was like porn, like when, in a way where
What kind of porn are you watching?
Well, it was like
Fish porn.
the best kind. Fish and alien porn, creature porn. No, it was like trying to watch porn on a scrambled TV where you see a nipple, you see an ass cheek, and you end up putting the whole porn together in your head like 2 days later. But that's what you used to do with these movies. Like, you'd see a finger or a hand, the back of a creature's head, and slowly through the movie you were putting it together until you finally saw it, and it was fun. And that's what they do in this movie here. They show just the little bits and hints of the creature, and you don't see it until later on in the film. What the fuck you looking at?
That Titanic.
I was thinking new mutants.
You know what? Here's the funny thing about this facility, and in all these sci-fi and horror movies, why are there janitors always in the room when they bringing in top secret creatures and monsters?
Because the movie had to happen, man.
If you notice in some of these movies, it's the janitor's fault. Like he hits a switch or a button or a lever. That's how we get the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
That's how the creature gets loose. That's why the janitor's alwa's dying first.
That happens in Gremlins too. It's a janitor that gets Gizmo wet.
Yeah. It's always like they in here they bringing in a top secret creature. And they got the janitors in there like they mopping up the lunchroom at a high school or something. Get them out of here. They should have been in the first goddamn
And no one is even looking at them while they're bringing this in. Like, she's like, I'm going to touch this. Like, no one's like, hey, maybe you should get away. Don't touch that.
Did no one ask them to leave?
Yeah, exactly, man. No wonder this facility sucks. And another thing about revealing this slow is that the creature is kind of menacing at first. They actually it's kind of scary. Yeah. So Martin's like, hey, man, it scared me.
No, I thought the opposite.
Yes.
I mean, it's menacing in the beginning. Don't get me wrong. It's just never a point where I didn't remember what it did.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. They don't know that shit. It's like,
are you sure you want to get this close to what you just saw? What it just did to? Okay.
I was like, why are y'all fucking with this right now, man? Who said something to piss him off? And now you see what they do. Like they're constantly tormenting this creature, and it really does make you think like, who was stupid enough to get that close? To this thing right here.
We know a couple.
When you finally do see him, a lot of people say, "Man, ain't nothing but Abe Simeon from Hellboy."
Yeah,
it's like they say they think a lot of people still think this is a spinoff, and it's like, nah, man, this creature might be his ghetto ass cousin or something, but it's not the same dude.
This creature would kick Abe's ass. He'd be lying in a puddle somewhere.
Hellboy, help!
Even Abe right now, like, hey, yo, man, hey, all right, we cool, right? You like me? I ain't nothing like you, bitch. Punk ass.
Yeah, you an Uncle Tom.
Yeah, you sell out motherfucker. Got your ass wearing goggles and shit.
What's that, clothes?
Yeah. Baywatch looking ass. But, wearing hip, Beats by Dre. But when you do see him, we still think, holy shit, what is this? But not your girl, though. Not Sally Hawkins. When Sally Hawkins first sees him, she's like, oh my God.
Yeah. I do declare.
She's sploosh. Yeah. She immediately gives this fish man catch me, fuck me up. Yeah, immediately.
She sees those tight fish abs right there, and she's like, we gonna make some pretty babies. It never crosses her mind that this is a fish man.
Yeah, man.
Like she never is scared of this. And
it does seem like her best friend is gay, and every other man she knows is an asshole.
That's true. You know what
the fish man's kind of a dick too.
Well, he gave back what he got.
Okay.
Yeah. And the funny thing about this is like the moment she saw this, it was love. But ask her, like, would you ever date a black guy? Oh, no, that's gross. Who would do that?
Mixing the races.
Yeah.
No. She would sign it.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. In the movie, Sally Hawkins, she plays a mute. And you know what? I can see why she's all into this dude. For one, she already got a fish fetish. I mean, because she can't masturbate unless she's in water.
Yeah,
she gotta get wet to get wet. She's always in the beginning of, like, make no mistake, at the beginning of the movie. And this is at the very beginning almost. It's like she pours water or draws herself a bath so she can get off. Mm-hmm. So they already show you, like, if you ain't if you don't have gills or scales or anything like that, you ain't got a chance with her. Plus, in the film, they actually do make it sort of a beautiful relationship. They try to make you understand how this is possible, because you're like, why? How was she ever? This is a woman that, for some reason in this world, people don't like mutes. It's like they are highly discriminated against for some reason, and I don't know why. But she's kind of considered a second-class citizen. She sees this creature being mistreated, like she's kind of been scorned. She can't talk. He can't talk. He understands sign language. So she is making a connection right there. Yeah. There is a lot that they do have in common. I think that's kind of cool, the way they set that up. Also, what's cool about it is, like, no matter how much you think that he's cool, no matter how much you think that he has this human romantic side to him, there's still a point where you have to realize he's also fucking wild. He's also an animal. He's still crazy.
Yes.
And you know what? I thought it was fascinating the way they actually were able to balance that. It did feel natural the way, he was intelligent, almost human-like, but still kind of crazy.
There's never that point where I got to fully relax.
Yeah. When everything, because, unlike, again, something like E.T. or these cute animal, alien or whatever creature movies, where they bring him in, and once they bring him in, hey, he's getting along with the kids and everything. This motherfucker will eat your kids. But even though they're selling this creature, we're talking about how good it looks, the design, how natural it feels. The creature for me is actually the least interesting thing in it, and it's very interesting. And the reason why I say that is because in the film, the creature's hardly in it, for one, and then. For another thing is there's a lot of other elements for me that outweigh the story of the creature, because the story of the creature is predictable. I mean, the movie's sold to us a certain way. They kind of tell us everything that's going to happen with that. We kind of know where that storyline is going, or do we? I'm not going to give you the spoilers, but I'm not going to tell you if it's tragic. I'm not going to tell you if it's a happy ending, but I will say that we do know that there's a hookup going on, and there's a. With this, I think that's cool, but there's so many great things like the direction of the film, the art direction itself. I like if you watch the movie, the colors in the film. I think this was clever. It's very subtle. It doesn't stand out, but in the movie, everything has this hue of what was the color of the car? Teal. Everything is teal. Everything is amber, and it's almost given the whole movie this water theme, an aquatic color scheme. I also like again the direction that's going on with here. Like Guillermo del Toro is a visionary, and he works with the spaces of this fantastic world very well. The cinematography, besides the color, the lighting, everything again is very ominous in its coloring.
And the camera work was incredible in this.
It was, that's what I'm saying. His direction with that is amazing. Plus, it's just the characters too. As I was saying, Sally Hawkins in this. This is really her movie. This is not the story of the creature. This is really her story. They spend a lot of time on these characters and on the human characters more than they do the actual monster here. And I love Sally Hawkins in this. She's, for one, she has to be a mute through the whole movie. And that's just emotional right there. Like all these people just talking down to this woman.
Sure.
She can't even be because she's a mute. She's got to get a job as a janitor and take care of her neighbors. And Sally Hawkins.
She's a small, slight woman as well.
That's true. That's true. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. Don't let that face fool you, because in the movie, people hint that she's ugly, but she gets nude in the movie, and I don't even mean
2 or 3 times,
man. I'm not trying to be. Y'all call me whatever the fuck. She got a body on her, man.
That's how when it first started up and she had to get in the bathtub. I was like, okay,
don't let this old school marm suit that she's wearing fool you, man. The woman, she got an ass on her, man.
I hope this happens again, and it does.
It's like, and that ass calms that monster down. That monster goes off until he gets a clip of that ass, and he's like, but yeah, man. That's another thing I like about that creature, man, is that's the only time I thought, like, okay, maybe you're going overboard, because he's kind of a wild animal, but he knows how to make out, man. He knows just how to touch a woman when he's making out with him.
Hey, he's picked up some things.
He has, man.
What has he been practicing on, though?
Michael Shannon.
With her being a mute in the movie, that's something that they could have played that too emotional. They could have tried to milk that too much. But you see her too when she struggles. You feel she's the most sympathetic
she struggles, but she doesn't sit around feeling sorry for herself.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't. And you see her trying hard too to get them words out, and you just feel bad for her. But she never feels bad for herself. And the cool thing about that is that she's usually always sympathetic to other people, even people who are assholes. I wish there's a point in the movie where there's a fantasy, and I kind of predicted that they would do that, because sometimes they do that with movies where people can't talk, and I wish they hadn't, because I thought like it kind of breaks her character when that happens, this little fantasy part.
I know what you mean, but it's short.
Yeah, and it tied into what they were kind of doing with the whole movie, with homages to older things.
And you're right, it doesn't come out of nowhere. It's a build up to it. You see her fantasizing about that very thing.
I've seen other things where they linger on that kind of thing too long. And you're like, come on, don't ruin this.
But it looks goofy as shit in this.
It's a little corny, man.
It is.
It's a corny,
incredibly
predictable.
corny.
And this is not so much about the creature as people think. This is a movie about misfits and trying to fit into the world. And they don't hammer that theme too hard. Again, it's a subtle theme. And I like that Sally Hawkins and Richard Jenkins, I'm not going to tell you what Richard Jenkins is going through, but he has a subplot that's done, it doesn't get in the way at all.
He's got 2 subplots.
That's right, he does.
That's true. But they're there to actually talk about his character as a lonely character. It's not meant to be this whole side plot and make it too dramatic,
Right?
You know, and that's the thing about it. When with Sally Hawkins, they get married. With Sally Hawkins and Richard Jenkins in the movie, those two together, again, those moments aren't too dramatic. They're not caught up in the drama of other people. They hold it down, and it's just a sweet storyline with those two.
That's better. Oh, look at Betty. When I was 18, I didn't know anything about anything. I'd give myself a bit of advice. I would say, take better care of your teeth and fuck a lot more.
You better not say that today.
Yeah.
You better be glad they had Twitter back then, so you might have tweeted your ass out there. You wouldn't be working now. If you're listening, you heard a bunch of what sound like tap dancing and footsteps. It's a sweet scene where they're watching an old movie and they're dancing in the musical, and they just do a little dance themselves while sitting down. Moments like that, scenes like that melt my heart, and I really enjoyed that. And again, just Richard Jenkins is just such a great actor too, man.
He really is, man. He crushed it with this role.
The two of them, and Michael Shannon and Michael's Stuhlbarg, and even Octavia Spencer, you have everybody really bringing their A game to all this, and it gives all these characters so much more to them than probably what they even had on the script.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned the script because everything I don't like about this movie, and there's a lot I don't like about it, is in the script. I hate this fucking script. I think it's awful. I think it's really bad.
I can. Here's the thing, man.
Yeah.
Whether I agree with you or not, let's just say I don't agree with you. I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
What is it that you don't like about the script without spoiling anything?
I think there are way too many subplots, and it gets away from the heart of the story, which it should be, or at least it's being sold as the relationship between this woman and this creature. Because I don't care about their relationship because there isn't one. As soon as she sees this thing, she's smitten with it. And this creature is not treated like a character. He's treated like an object and at times an animal, but that's about it. So it has no emotional resonance. At least it didn't for me. I could care less what happened with those two because I didn't have a sense of any relationship between them. I'm looking at thinking of something like E.T. or the Iron Giant, or even How to Train Your Dragon, when it's a character learning to communicate and befriend and love a creature. Over the course of the film, that relationship needs to change. We need to see it grow. And here they don't do that at all. And there's a lot of subplots in here that I think get in the way and make it way too long.
But I understand where you're coming from, but I think that, like I was saying earlier, they gave you just the bare minimum of what you needed to know why she was into this creature. They have actors in here who are, like you said, bringing their A game, man. They are. Octavia Spencer, we all know that she's a great actress. And I enjoyed her in this movie. Her character, I didn't really care for a whole lot. It's great the way her character is because I love the dynamic, and I'm going to show you a clip in a little bit where you see this. Sally Hawkins is mute. So Octavia Spencer, she just keeps talking all the time. You know, they kind of, and keep in mind, Sally Hawkins is mute, not deaf. So she's a good listener. This woman talks too damn much, and so they complement each other. I like that, but my problem is that she is just the sassy black woman. There's nothing more to her than that, really. And there's just a tiny bit of magical, mystical Negro in there, just a tiny bit. When you say the voice, she got the good answers. But I'm not saying it's bad. This is 62.
Well, no, that's why I didn't really feel like the little bit of a magical, mystical Negro part. I just kind of felt like it was the 60s, so she knew how to.
I've not heard that term before.
Seriously?
You need to get one, man.
Bagger bands. Start there.
Yeah. They're like
they have one, Coleman.
Yeah. Oh, you. Yeah, it's like Siri, except it's old and black. Good advice.
But yeah, like the reason why I felt like she did well in here is because it was the '60s, and black people in the '60s had to feign to be ignorant and not know everything. Yeah. So like I was like, all right, I kind of dig how they went with this role with her.
No, and I get that. That's why I say I enjoyed her. That's why I'm not complaining too much. I'm just thinking that there wasn't much to it other than that. But then again, this is a movie with a lot of characters, so it wasn't like she was flat. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a Bagger Vance situation. No, hell no. Again, I'll give it some credit. There's some emotion there, and to see her have this protective, and maybe y'all saying now she a mammy. No, to see her have this protective bond with Sally Hawkins' character in this, having been friends with her for so long, it worked. I'll tell you who I did not like in the movie at all. I liked the actor, loved the actor, did not like his character, Michael Shannon.
Yeah. I think a lot of the characters are really cartoony in this, frankly, but he's the biggest offender by far. And I don't think it's his fault. I think it's the way the character is written, again. Every negative trait a man could possibly have is embodied in this character.
Thank you.
He's racist. He's sexist. He cheats on his wife. He's a low-life piece of shit.
So he's white people in the 60s. That's exactly what I'm hearing.
Everybody. When I watch Mad Men, that's the entire cast.
Thank you.
But in Mad Men, you watch a series with people, they'll show you a bright side of themselves. This guy is just...
He's a caricature of a racist from the 60s.
He's a caricature of a villain.
Yeah. He's his character from Boardwalk Empire.
Even that character, understand.
That character was more human than this.
Yeah, this guy is just there to be evil.
Plus, it allowed us to have our team up of the creature from the Black Lagoon and Frankenstein.
He does. He got that Frankenstein head and them Black Lagoon lips. I can even show you my notes that I wrote here where I said he is racist. Let me see right here.
And openly and violently racist.
What does that say right there?
Let me see. Evil villainous trait. Evil, racist, a creeper, loves to torture.
That's all he is there for. And he's that weird evil too. Like, even when he goes home around his kids, he's fucking weird. He's having sex with his wife. He's weird. He mutilates himself because I'm crazy.
None of these characters have any nuance to them, especially him.
That's why you hire Michael Shannon.
Thank you.
I'm watching the whole time and just looking at all the little things he's putting in there on his own. I was like, he knows how to work this.
No, the thing is, it's a terribly written character.
Yes.
It's a great actor that was able to take it and do something with it. This is a guy that he rises above the material and brings the material up. Like I said, man, this guy, he's just everything he does is to either be evil or weird about it.
I want to go that far because there was moments when he was spending time with his family and he's like, I'm doing this for them as well.
Did you see where he was sitting at the table and he was just like,
yeah, I mean, he's still weird to his family.
Yeah, but like because he was talking to his kids and everything. You're like, all right, he cares for them, and he's saying, are you still, like, he's talking to his wife like outside of the scene in bed, like he's saying, are you sure you still want to do this, still want to be here? So he cares about his family. He's not just a 2D character.
I'll tell you what I got from that. He cares about living up to a role. I didn't get the feeling he gave a fuck about his family.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, like when he was with his wife, his mind is somewhere else about his job. I'll just show you something. The guy, even the guy, he's like, you know what? I don't care. I'll go and whip my dick out in front of anybody. And Louis C.K. ain't got nothing on me. He walks in. He wants to let people know how weird he is. You think people men are doing power moves today? This guy goes into a bathroom and is like, you know what? I gotta take a piss, but don't leave. Don't leave. Just stay where you are.
You get enough practice, that's for sure. My Brewster, no one's ever called him a great mind.
She's like, if I could talk, I'd say, shut the fuck up. She's like, I'm not even looking at you right now.
She got an earplug.
Shut up.
Excuse us, sir.
Don't mind me.
Well, at least he didn't take a shit. Don't mind me, girls. Just lean on the floor.
Y'all can clean this up, right?
Yeah, Michael Shannon is one of my favorite actors, man. You can see how great he is with this material. I like him. He makes the character for me because I'm looking at Michael Shannon, the actor, but I'm not looking at the character. Every time I look at the character, I'm like, okay, you know what? This is I can take it or leave it. But I love him. Guillermo del Toro was wise enough to sit back and just let the actors do their thing in the movie.
Let them do what they do.
Let them do what they do. I think that's one of the things about, look, like I say, I don't know Guillermo del Toro, been up in your house. Remember when we went to his house and his house looked just like that shit right there. I believe that he's a guy who is so visually oriented, but is also a good enough director to know to get the right people to write his characters interesting enough for certain actors. Maybe they're not well written, but he'll pick actors who can do well with this. I don't know if he sees in auditions or not, but that's the great thing. He's like, you know what? I'm going to concentrate on the creatures who do what you do. You know, he lets these actors do what they need to do, and it shows. The other thing here is that, look, there's just a lot of imagination going on. For all of the complaints that I have about this, there's a lot of attention to detail. There are little small details that make it work, subtle things that work. For all the shortcomings, I really enjoyed this film. I'm going to give it a full price.
Okay. I feel like the first half of this movie, it moved at a great pace. Like they revealed a monster at a good speed. The characters were fleshed out well. But the second, I feel like that's when things kind of start slowing down, and that's when they kind of really hit the brakes for me. I really liked the stuff that was going on when they were in the facility and they were, what is this creature? What are we learning about this? Let's talk about these characters. Let's see how this person is moving this way. Maybe this person isn't who they're portraying themselves to be. Things like that. But once they get out, it just really slowed down. I didn't like it. But the final act of this, I thought really picked it back up because it gets more back to a frantic pace. I want to go as a full price, but it's a matinee for me. It was an enjoyable film.
All right.
Going in, I kept hearing how this is his best movie, and I was like, well, we'll see. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, this may be my favorite movie of his. It's a full price for me.
All right. And sourdough Gertz.
Sorry, man. I was really looking forward to this movie. This was one of the movies I was looking forward to the most this year. And visually, you can't deny how pretty it is. And there are some terrific shots in it. And these actors are really trying. Again, everything that I have a problem with is on the page. It's the script. I think some of the dialogue in here is really fucking bad. I don't think a single joke hits. A lot of them just made me kind of groan. I didn't have any emotional connection to what was happening. I felt like these characters, with the exception of two, all felt like cartoons in a bad way, especially given how dour the film looks from a visual standpoint. That kind of dark fantasy is undercut by these characters acting and saying goofy shit. For me, it's a rental. I wish I liked this more.
That's a rental, man. All right, with your racist ass.
They didn't treat that fish man like a character at all.
Oh, yes,
I get that some people find that appealing. I was let down by that.
Well, Gertz, I hate to tell you, times are changing, though. Well, King Kong gonna get that white woman yet. Maybe in Skull Island, too. His son will finally get what King Kong never had.
You get him, son.
Yeah. Get him for me.
Avenge me.